Oh, shoo-be-doo, I wanna be like you, ooh, ooh. I wanna walk like you and talk like you, too, ooh, ooh. You see it's true, ooh, ooh, and ain't like me.
Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz singer, songwriter, arranger, and bandleader Corinne Mammana. She talked about her new 2020 CD, Yes, No, Next, due out on April 17, 2020, and it is her much-anticipated first full-length album that will have reimagined standards, originals, modern songs, and show tunes. Her hallmark is creative arrangements sung in a sophisticated and soothing style that fans have described as a cross between Norah Jones and Stacey Kent. Her debut EP, Under an August Moon, has led to her opening for Grammy-nominated jazz singer Cyrille Aimée and gigs in premier clubs in New York City. And there's plenty more in store for all. So please get to know her and dig this interview, my friends.
Thank you for taking a minute out to Neon Jazz today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So talk to me about this new CD coming out, Yes, No, Next, and give me an idea of what your artistic vision with this album was.
The title track, Yes, No, Next, was kind of the concept behind it all, the catalyst, if you will. It's a beautiful song written by Ramsey McLean, and he actually wrote the lyrics to a song on my EP album from 2016 called A Wink and a Smile, which was on the movie Sleepless in Seattle. Mark Shaman wrote the music for it. And anyway, so from that, Ramsey McLean sent me some of his music, and one of the songs was Yes, No, Next. And I fell in love with it, and I knew that one of these days I was going to record it. I just love it so much. So the idea behind the album is it's centered around this opportunity, this wonderful opportunity we have every day to make a choice of how we're going to proceed with our lives and decisions we make. So the choice to say yes to whatever that is, a relationship, what you're going to do moving forward, to say no, to let go, or to say next. That's the idea behind it. So, yeah, it's a very eclectic mix of songs, and I'm really happy with it.
So we talked about the ever-present. Let's talk about the beginnings. Where were you born and raised, and kind of how did you get involved with music and jazz?
So I was born and raised outside of Philadelphia in Plymouth Meeting. I grew up, performing shows in my basement with my older sister. The first thing we did was Annie the musical on a record player, invited the neighborhood kids over to play all the parts. And from there, my parents realized I needed some kind of creative outlet to express my otherwise shy self. And they enrolled me in theater camp, and that kind of started this passion and love for musical theater. And that grew onto high school and college, where I studied musical theater and voice and pursued professional theater for a while before discovering my passion for jazz. I think one of the first things I did was I was invited to sing a couple standards with an already established band at the Lafayette Bar in Easton. I still remember, I sang Sway and Dream a Little Dream of Me. So that was kind of the start of it all. And my background being in musical theater has been a driving force.
So did you always know that you were going to have a career in music?
Did I always know? I knew I always wanted to sing in some way, shape, or form, whether that was musical theater or otherwise. And yeah, it was always going to be there somehow.
When you did release your debut EP, was that kind of a dream realized, Under an August Moon?
Yeah, for sure. I love being in the recording studio, and I wanted to put something out there. So that was definitely a dream come true. And if I could be in the recording studio every day, that would be the ultimate goal and dream. Yeah.
You had the chance to open up for Cyrille Aimée. That had to be a pretty big moment for you. What was that like?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was about a year ago, actually. Yeah, it was at a venue close to me in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I saw she was coming to town to play, and I asked if I could open for her. So making my own opportunities, and there was actually a cancellation, so I was able to do it and fill in. And yeah, she's an awesome performer. She's so inspiring. Her energy is insane. She's very inspiring to me. It was wonderful to watch her after performing.
So I always hear really good things about the land of Coltrane. You know, Philadelphia has all kinds of jazz history and clubs and all that. Was that a wonderful place to kind of get, you know, things moving for you in the jazz world?
To be honest, I didn't go to Philadelphia a lot as growing up. Definitely having the culture nearby was great. But I grew up going to New York City more than anything. I didn't grow up listening to jazz. My parents didn't listen to it. I did a lot of things that my big sister did and what she listened to. So I was definitely introduced to jazz later in life. But yeah, Philadelphia has a wonderful culture. I really should go explore that more, for sure.
Well, what was one of the first live jazz shows that you ever saw that was just mind-blowing?
First one? I don't know about the first one, but I did see Kat Edmondson last year, and she's a wonderful performer. She's a great storyteller and so truthful. Yeah, I just am so inspired by her and listening to all the jazz greats of the past.
Speaking of jazz greats of the past, if you could get into a jazz floor and go back in time, who would you see? Who would you want to talk to and see perform live?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I would love to see Ella Fitzgerald. Anyone really. Take me back. Yeah, Sarah Vaughan, and I'm very inspired by female singers, obviously, but you know, Frank Sinatra obviously would be wonderful as well. So
why do you love jazz?
I love jazz because it's never really the same. You can play the same song over and over again and never really be the same as before. Love the sound and where it can go, where it takes you and the audience. And it's something that I'm still learning about and always trying to be better at. And I think it allows that.
So let's say we talk 10 years from now and I ask what's been going on. What do you want to see happen maybe in the next decade?
I would love to perform at jazz festivals and, you know, the venues where people come to hear jazz and the music. I would love to have more albums out and just reach people.
So my final question to you is this. Everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fans, that you're living your life. Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am? I think, well, I know I'm a daughter and a sister, wife, an aunt, godmother, a dog mom, can't forget that. And I'm creative, I'm sensitive, loving and loyal. Yeah.
Wonderful. That's a great answer. That's a great way to wrap everything up. Thank you for taking some time out today from Neon Jazz. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest singers in Boston, Kansas City, New York City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks for time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Don't forget Winona alone.
Neon Jazz.